This story kicks off with total chaos as a massive dragon lays waste to the city. And he's not alone. Hordes of dungeon monsters are swarming the streets. A soldier panics, reporting to the commander that a single strike from the dragon, Vitra, has wiped out 90% of the base's defensive capabilities. The commander is shaking, wondering if this is the end of the line. Is it game over for humanity? The black dragon Vitra cracks a sinister grin, telling them to just vanish, drawing every human's gaze as he charges a spell of absolute destruction in his maw. But wait, out of nowhere, a mystery figure blurs in and blocks the dragon's breath attack. The crowd is absolutely stunned. Enter Agito, the eight-blade sword saint. He casually apologizes for being late and tells them, "Relax, I'll handle the rest." Flashback time. Somewhere in the 1900s, dimensional portals cracked open all over the globe. To fight the beasts pouring out led by 6 almighty dragons, humanity unlocked a mysterious power called magic. We defended our turf and started clapping back. Even though the cost was high, humanity managed to push back the monster army. And now, we are staring down the barrel of the final battle. Countless warriors have already bitten the dust. Another soldier runs up to the general, it's Tenzaki. The general realizes the grim truth. The fact that she's here with him means only one thing. She confirms it: the other 6 dragons have been slain. The only one left standing is the black dragon, Vitra. Tenzaki drops to her knees, unable to hold back the grief, which totally freaks out the general. She's at her breaking point. Everyone else is in critical condition. Agito is the last man standing who can actually fight, so they have no choice but to bet everything on him. The dragon speaks up, unimpressed. Even if Agito beat the others, Vitra asks if he seriously thinks he can challenge him, with just sword skills. Agito pauses, then claps back. It's not just skill, he's going to slice him up with everything he's got. Tenzaki explains that while humans usually have deep reserves of latent magic, Agito is built different. The general is confused. His magic power is practically zero, not even enough for a basic spell. Agito has no mana, so he improvised. He forcibly coats his blade with the infinite magic hanging in the atmosphere. He drops into the 8-blade stance, locking in for the kill, screaming that he's going all out. But the dragon calls him a fool and vows to turn him into dust, unleashing the abyss black rain. Agito braces for the counterattack, throwing his entire being into the charge, creating multiple clones of himself to confuse the beast. Face to face now, he unleashes the 8-blade style, Thunder, God, landing a massive thrust that slams directly into the dragon. The general wonders if he actually hurt Vitra. An attack from someone with zero magic doing that much damage? Bleeding slightly, the dragon realizes this human is different from the trash he's fought before. He gets serious, opening his third eye and triggering his ultimate ability, obliterating buildings like they're made of paper. Tenzaki throws up a barrier, screaming at the general to get behind her. Agito is shook by the sheer pressure and magical power, wondering if this is the monster's true form. But he's out of options, he has to risk it all. He preps his own ultimate move, the 8-blade secret technique, the 8 reincarnations of Akatsuki. It all comes down to this one move. As both titans unleash their power simultaneously, Agito tries to pierce Vitra with a flurry of strikes. Watching from afar, Tenzaki can only gasp that he's fighting on equal footing with Vitra, maybe even winning. The 8 reincarnations technique absorbs and fuses elemental magic from the air, generating explosive power. However, there's a catch. The more power it sucks in, the more it drains his life force. It's a double-edged sword. Plus, with his friends behind him, he's fighting with a handicap he might not be able to secure the win. Even if Vitra hasn't noticed, they need an exit strategy, while the two are locked in combat. But Vitra catches on while our protagonist is still holding his ground. The dragon mocks him, calling it ridiculous to sacrifice everything for sentimental garbage. Tenzaki realizes her worst fear has come true. Vitra sneers, calling them insects, and begins weaving a 3-layered magic circle. The protagonist knows the score. If he dodges, his friends die. And if that's the case, there's no choice at all. He looks back toward Tenzaki, apologizing and telling her he's counting on her for what comes next. Tenzaki screams, begging him not to do it. But Vitra unleashes the black curtain of annihilation, and Agito burns his very soul to release the full fury of the 8 reincarnations of Akatsuki. Agito flips the switch, unleashing the devastating full power of the Akatsuki's 8 reincarnations. 8-leaf sword style engages. This is it. If this is the end, the final curtain call, then he's holding nothing back. He's throwing everything he has to deflect Vitra's strike. Both sides are maxing out their power levels. Neither side is budging, locking everyone in a state of shock. But then, Agito's counterattack? It's way more OP than Vitra anticipated. It completely dwarfs the dragon's blast, erupting into a blinding flare that rivals the sun itself. The whole city lights up, leaving the soldiers absolutely shook. Agito is still standing. Meanwhile, Vitra gets shredded. losing massive chunks of its body before crashing hard into the earth. Our hero rushes to rejoin his squad but hits the deck the second he takes a step. Tenzaki catches him just in time. The damage is catastrophic. She begs him to stay still. The commander demands a status report. Agito confirms that he smashed the core. That thing is down for the count. The troops erupt in cheers. Humanity actually survived. Tenzaki tries to cast a healing buff, but Vritra's voice cuts in. What a pity. Agito and the crew freeze. Agito's mind races. What was that? The voice is inside his head. The dragon sneers. The plan remains unaltered. We will awaken the ultimate being, dragon god Ragnar. The conditions are set. Agito is clueless, trying to process the intel. Thanks to the dragon god's blessing, we, the 6 dragons, will respawn in 100 years. Your struggle was for nothing. As Vritra dissolves into nothingness, Agito screams for him to wait, leaving Tenzaki totally confused. Inside his own head, the hero is reeling. Dragon god Ragnar? What is happening? Even after wiping out all 6 dragons, it's not over? Meanwhile, Tenzaki is panicking. Her healing magic isn't working. It's the backlash from overusing Akatsuki reincarnation. He curses his luck as his consciousness starts to fade to black. He mentally begs for just one more chance he can't log out yet. Tenzaki screams, calling for every medic on the field. But our MC can only mutter one last thought. My battle isn't over. Suddenly, ripples of light form, pulling his soul through a wormhole-like tunnel until he hits a massive, golden circle, where all his power converges. Then, smash cut to a heart monitor beeping rhythmically. A robotic voice announces vital signs are stable. The patient's consciousness level has been restored. Citizen, DH, 26,483. Patient name, Agito Mitsurugi, is awake. The attending physician is en route. He keeps his eyes shut for a second, then slowly peels them open. What's with all the noise? He wonders. He scans the room and realizes he's in some kind of hospital, but it's packed with tech he's never seen before. Is this a military black site? His eyes lock onto a TV screen. The news anchor announces, the world was saved by Sword Saint Agito of the 8 Leaves and the 4 Heroes. This year marks the 100th anniversary of that piece. The MC is absolutely floored. As the TV plays the centennial tribute to the War of the 6 Dragons, Agito can't process it. 100 years? That's impossible. He scrambles for clues, checking a calendar, and then catching his reflection in a mirror beneath it. He questions if that's even his face. Did he respawn? He has zero clue what the hell is going on. The TV cuts to breaking news. Multiple portals have been active since last month. Today alone, over 50 new portal activities and abnormal magical tremors have been confirmed across various regions. Citizens are speculating this could signal the return of the 6 dragons. The Mages Guild has issued a high-level alert. Suddenly, Vritra's final words echo in Agito's mind. Thanks to the dragon god's blessing, we will revive in 100 years. He doesn't know why he reincarnated, but this is a miraculous second chance. The 6 dragons are back. If that's true, dragon god Ragnar's awakening is imminent. He grits his teeth. Don't think everything will go according to your plan. I'm going to stop Ragnar's awakening myself. Cut to later, he crushes an empty can into a flat disc. Agito declares it's time to make his move. Outside, a loudspeaker blares an announcement about the upcoming Mages Guild press conference. We see the protagonist weaving through the crowds on the boulevard. On a giant screen, a reporter grills an official. What is the reason for the sudden gate activations? Reports show monster spawns are spiking. The official deflects, claiming there's no need for panic. We have deployed S-rank personnel and top-tier hunters across all regions to maintain order. But Agito knows the truth. A god-tier monster might be spawning on the other side of those gates. The hunt is on. Desperate to crack the code, our protagonist figures this has to be a rapid response scenario. Seems the guild, in this era, actually knows their stuff. That said, marching right into the guild to spill his guts would definitely tip off the 6 dragons that he's back on the map. He's got to lay low and live as Mitsurugi Agito for now, at least until he can track the enemy's movements. He heads to campus Kagura Magic Academy, the training ground for future Sorcerer Guild hopefuls. Honestly, it's a massive stroke of luck that he respawned as a student here. It's the perfect spot to farm intel, and if he plays his cards right, he might even network with the guild's heavy hitters. Above all, he needs powerful allies if he plans to take down the 6 dragons, and a skilled student might be worth letting in on the secret. Suddenly, a student starts chanting a spell, summoning a fireball to obliterate his targets and launching it straight at the test dummy. The professor shouts out that he's leveled up big time. At this pace, he could be gunning for rank B. The kid is hyped, giving all credit to the teacher's guidance. While Agito watches, stunned, another classmate casts Ice Needle. The next one uses Sand Rain, and Agito literally can't believe it. They are painfully weak. He's wondering if this is seriously the standard for modern sorcerers. These kids are below what they used to call rookie grunt level. While the NPCs keep spamming spells at the dummy, Agito heads toward his classroom. This isn't looking promising. How is he supposed to scout a god-tier ally in a place like this? As he pushes the door open, he figures, this is it. He plans to scope out the situation carefully. But the second the door opens, someone shouts, "Sword Saint!" It's the classic group of bullies you find in every school. They smirk, asking if his wounds healed up. They were so worried since he was hospitalized for 1 month and just vanished. Who were they supposed to toy with? The other students are terrified, keeping their mouths shut. Our protagonist is speechless. For a split second, he thought his cover was blown. But it's just inevitable trash talk because of his name. He needs to stay in character as Mizurugi Agito, so he apologizes, claiming the hospital stay made his memory a bit fuzzy. He asks who they are, which instantly triggers the group. One guy grabs him by the collar, asking if a miserable rank F dares to speak that way to the great rank A, Yuki Hibaja, before landing a kick that sends him to the floor. Agito wonders what the deal is while Yuki steps up, calling him a failed piece of trash, telling him to know his place and crawl like the worm he is. The classmates whisper that Yuki is at it again. Even if he is rank A, he's still just an applicant. But his buddy tells him to zip it before they hear him. Seeing Agito get bullied is entertainment enough for them, while Yuki just glares with pure contempt, eyes locking onto the weapon. He mocks that an old, rusty sword is a perfect fit for a permanent bottom feeder. He tells Agito to keep dreaming if he thinks he'll ever be the hero Agito of the 8 swords, because that is never happening. The only thing they share is a cool name. The bullies start cracking up. Agito just sighs, finally grasping the situation. The original host was in the hospital because he was getting jumped by these guys, and these kids have no clue what's about to hit them. Agito smacks the hand away, apologizing because he's a little tied up right now. He asks, "How about you go sharpen your skills instead of wasting time on nonsense?" The entire class starts shaking. He just triggered Yuki Hibaha. Yuki glares, asking if he wants to be finished off right here. The 2 lackeys know Hibaha is seeing red, meaning Agito is heading back to the ER. Yuki, charging up, one of his spells, screams that if he has a death wish, he'll send him straight to the afterlife. Students scramble for the exits while Agito stands there, stone-faced. Yuki tells him to die like he wants, hurling his explosive flame orb directly at Agito. But Agito grabs his hilt, unsheathes, and unleashes the 8-sword style, whirlwind cut. He parries Yuki Hibaja's attack, blasting the force right back at him. The classmates can't believe their eyes. The explosive flame orb was nullified. Agito, a rank F, just cancelled magic from Hibaja, who's borderline rank A. Inside his head, Yuki is freaking out. This can't be real. He questions if this is the real Agito, while the protagonist coolly sheathes his blade. Standing in front of him, concerned, Yuki thinks it must have been a glitch. He charges his fire spell again, yelling not to underestimate him. But right at that moment, a voice commands him to stop. It's one of the descendants of the 4 heroes, Amasaki Erika, rank A. Amasaki Erika. Hibaja is stunned, and Agito remains expressionless, while the rest of the class watches on. Whispers ripple through the crowd. It's Amasaki. Did she finally return from her overseas expedition? She casually sheathes her blade, dropping a cold warning. No attack magic indoors. And definitely no bullying teammates just for a laugh. She sliced Hibaja's spell clean in half, nullifying it instantly. Erika warns them, cut the drama, or she'll deal with them personally. The bully can only grit his teeth, signaling his lackey to bail. Erika lets out a heavy sigh, clearly over it. Her squad rushes in to welcome her back, hyping up the fact that she just returned from abroad and shut down a fight in seconds. Exactly what you'd expect from an A-ranker. Her name echoes in Agito's mind. She might be Yukai's descendant. If that's true, maybe she can fill him in on what's happening outside the academy. Meanwhile, Yuki Hibaja is spiraling, cursing up a storm. He's been totally humiliated. He blasts a fireball into a tree, screaming the protagonist's name and swearing he'll end him. That's a promise. But someone else is watching from the rooftops, hunting for the blood of these so-called heroes. And this guy is terrifying. He locks eyes on Agito. It's Sub-Commander Ravankin, from the 6 Dragons Odium. He mocks Agito's name, calling it repulsive, but admits the kid looks like unexpected prey. He chuckles, invoking the name of Lord Ruble. With Ruble's resurrection imminent, Odium is ready to clean house. Yuki Hibaja is still raging. Agito and Amasaki completely clowned him, so he plans to jump the protagonist after class. His crew asks if he's serious. They beg him to let it go. Amasaki is a descendant of the Big Four, but Hibaja snaps back. What does lineage have to do with it? Anyone who looks down on him gets crushed. Period. Suddenly, a slow clap breaks the tension, grabbing everyone's attention. It's Odio. He steps out, telling Hibaja that his twisted, angry spirit is absolutely magnificent. Hibaja demands to know who he is, but instantly buckles under a crushing pressure. The stranger apologizes for the dramatic entrance. He introduces himself as Odio, loyal servant to the mighty fire dragon, Lord Rubel, and he calls Hibaja a little seed that can help him. He offers to implant a shard of his power. A dark tattoo sears onto Hibaja's neck, forcing him to his knees. His friends panic, asking if he's all right. When he turns around, his eyes are glowing a demonic red. His buddies freeze, asking what happened and telling him to wait. But he's gone. Lost in a euphoric rage, he lunges at them. A gut-wrenching scream echoes through the air. Moments later, bodies lie lifeless on the ground. Hibaja walks away, his hands engulfed in flames. Odio laughs, delighted that his plan is falling into place. His pawns are ready. It's time to start the game. Cut to the C-Rank gate at Skull Mountain's third peak. The teacher announces a field test inside the dungeon. They can go solo or squad up, but the passing grade is taking down at least 5 dungeon monsters. Just to be safe, they've brought in an A-rank instructor to supervise, so nobody needs to panic. The protagonist, however, is still processing what he just witnessed. A field test against live monsters? He questions in his mind, if these kids are actually with such mediocre skills. Amasaki catches his eye, so he walks over to thank her for the assist earlier. She brushes it off coolly. She says she only spooked him a little. But if Agito ever has trouble, just let her know. Next time, she'll punch Hibaja straight in the face. Agito chuckles, thinking her fiery spirit feels incredibly familiar. It reminds him of the old days when she used to try and fight him. But she interrupts his thoughts that bully only targets the weak. She doubts he has the guts to mess with a descendant of the big 4 heroes who fought alongside the Sword Saint. This catches Agito off guard. If that's the narrative, then they must have lived happy lives after the war. Amasaki asks what's wrong. He shakes his head, saying it's nothing, and promises to chat later. He leaves her confused. But her mind is racing. What Mitsurugi showed this morning wasn't magic. It wasn't a failed spell from Hibaja, either. It was undeniable swordsmanship. The shockwave that dispersed the explosive mana orb was created by an insane draw speed. Not even an S-grade magic swordsman could pull that off. Only one person in history is capable of that feat, the Sword Saint, Agito of the 8 Swords. She starts wondering who Mitsurugi really is. Meanwhile, Agito strolls deeper into the Skull Mountain dungeon, where the students are gathering to take on an ogre. They unleash a barrage of spells, trying to clear the mission. But let's be real, their magic is weak. The ogre isn't impressed. With one swing of its massive club, it swats a student into the dirt like a fly. The monster goes for the kill shot, but swoosh, he gets sliced clean in half before he even lands it. Enter Agito, sliding in clutch to save the kid. He checks him and drops a pro tip. Keep your spacing when you're dancing with orcs. One student is totally shook, like, he can't process that Agito dropped the beast in a blink. It's unreal, but our MC walks off, confirming his suspicions. These students are total noobs. He needs to speedrun this field test. Maybe he can network with a heavy hitter in the guild later. Moving on, he hits a solo path and pauses. What the heck? It's a massacre. Monster bodies are littered everywhere. He takes a closer look and realizes it's Ibaha. But the vibe is off. The delinquent snaps around, eyes glowing with berserker rage as he spots Agito. He lunges, spamming fire attacks like a maniac. Agito weaves through the flames, dodging effortlessly. The MC clocks it instantly. His mana is supercharged, but his movements are glitchy. There's only one play here. He parries the strike with his blade and notices Ibaha's hand is a bloody mess. The impact hits, and snap, his fingers shatter. Do you feel nothing? Agito wonders. Then Ibaha starts whimpering, begging for help. That hits Agito hard, triggering a flashback of an old comrade. He grits his teeth. I got you. He charges a sphere of pure light at his fingertips and drives that energy straight into Ibaha's forehead. He shatters the control seal on his neck. Ibaha collapses on Agito's arm, sobbing as he blacks out. Agito barks out, I know you're watching. Show yourself. Chilling laughter echoes back. Finally, a toy that won't break. Maybe I'll drag you to Amasaki Jerika first. He steps out. Odium, loyal servant to Lord Rubel, flashing a menacing spell circle. One of the 6 dragons is rising soon. He taunts, keeping the MC pinned down with arcane pressure. And today, I'm your Grim Reaper. He unleashes a barrage of fireballs, but the protagonist starts slicing through them like butter. Odium is stunned. He cut through my magic? Agito stares him down. If the 6 dragons are coming back, then I'm here to sever every single plan you have. Yo fam, it's me again. Before we get back to the action, I gotta introduce the channel sponsor, which is ME, cause no brands wanna pay me yet, or at least, not right now. Check out the channel membership here for premium sneak peeks, custom emojis, the WhatsApp channel, and the Elite Squad perks. On the flip side, here's my dead Discord server. The mission? Revive it and build. The GOAT Hispanic manga community. I'm recruiting the most active users as mods, so step up. Plus, I've got giveaways and try not to laugh challenges dropping soon. Over time, all my socials will be linked in the description if you want to join the crew. Alright, plug over, let's roll the tape. Odium sneers, cocky brat, charging up a fresh spell. If that's how you want it, let's play a little game. Our boy dashes in, using max agility to dodge while closing the gap for some CQC combat with Odium, who blocks with his razor-sharp claws. Agito mocks him, "You seem to be enjoying yourself," and asks, "Why do you hurt humans?" The monster just cackles, because it's hilarious, letting out a twisted, sadistic laugh. Seeing this, the MC backflips to gain distance, while Odium keeps spamming magic circles to zone him out. Laughing, he says, "The war 100 years ago was peak entertainment. When hunting, the best part is leaving a path for the prey to run, and then, right when they taste safety, boom, you show up." The despair in that moment? A kid screaming as his mom is mind-controlled to kill him? Chef's kiss. I love it. If the dragon god wakes up, I get to binge-watch that chaos again. So I won't let you ruin the show. He casts a massive circle, laughing like a maniac, but the laughter cuts short. The MC is already behind him, and Odium's arm is lying on the floor. Agito looks cold as ice. "Stop yapping. You're giving me goosebumps." While Odium shrieks in agony, he spins around, lunging at the protagonist for a cheap shot from behind, screaming, "You miserable human!" But Agito dodges it effortlessly. Odium keeps spitting insults. "You're nothing but useless trash to us hunters. Don't get it twisted, boy." In the final clash, the MC gets knocked back. Odium cranks his magic to the max, roaring that he'll incinerate him beyond recognition. Meteor rain. But Agito plants his feet firmly. There is no turning back now. If he has to blow the entire gate to smithereens to get through, then so be it. He unleashes the eight-sword style, Sky Severer. The blade sings, shredding through 90% of Odium's projectile barrage like it is made of wet paper. Agito lands a flurry of precision cuts, but amidst the chaos, something clicks. That stance, he definitely recognizes it from somewhere. The dust settles and Odium hits the deck. Wheezing, he glares up, realizing he knows that move. The memory hits him like a truck. That wretched monster. That is the exact technique that wiped out Ruben's entire battalion. Only one legend wielded that power, the Sword Saint, Agito of the Eight Swords. Rumor had it he perished in the Great War. Could this actually be a reincarnation? No way. Agito smirks, sword raised. "Do I really need to answer that? You are about to be sliced and diced anyway." Odium's face twists in pure frustration. But then, a chuckle escapes the demon's lips. It grows into a maniacal cackle. He actually found him. He found the legendary Agito of the Eight Swords. Talk about bad luck, Odium laughs frantically. You went through all the trouble of coming back to life, just to get zeroed out again. Suddenly, a surge of agony rips through the demon. Agito tenses up the air, is getting heavy. Transformation time. Dragon Ragnar is waking up, and the power boost is insane. A massive, suffocating shadow erupts, swallowing Agito whole. Odium unleashes a roar that shatters the cavern ceiling. Debris rains down, putting our protagonist on high alert. This is bad. Boom. Odium stomps the ground, cracking the bedrock. "No more kid gloves," he hisses, laughing. "Witness the dragon god's blessing. Ready to taste true despair?" The demon taunts. Agito tilts his head, completely unfazed. Dragon blessing? Never heard of it. The demon plays his ace card. Now that the disguise is off, he is going to bury the hero right here, right now. Miles away, the ground shudders violently. The tunnel behind the rest of the squad collapses in a cloud of dust and rocks. Panic sets in among the group. What is going on? Why is the whole dungeon shaking apart? Masaki freezes. That mana signature. It is unnatural. He does not hesitate, sprinting full speed toward the chaos. Everyone else, get out, now. It is a monster in there. He dives deeper into the darkness until he skids to a halt. He spots Agito facing down the beast and his jaw drops. Wait, that is Mitsurugi? What is he doing down here? Agito's cover is blown, so he decides to speedrun this fight. Odium coils his muscles, prepping for the opening strike. Slash. Odium unleashes a shockwave that carves deep gouges into the stone wall. Agito weaves through it, leaving Masaki stunned. A razor-thin cut opens on Agito's cheek, followed instantly by a phantom chain of strikes across his body. Agito sighs, looking disappointed. Is that it? Agito scoffs. Just a physical stat buff? Odium grins. Psych. His wounds start stitching themselves back together. Masaki gasps. Agito's eyes widen in disbelief. Told you, Odium taunts. Did I not warn you? Against the Divine Dragon's blessing, your pitiful sword tricks are absolutely useless. Odium launches a combo attack, but Agito enters the flow state, dodging every swipe with terrifying ease. Masaki is watching a ghost. The observer is trembling. That thing is a nightmare. An A-rank hunter would be dead in seconds. We need an S-rank response team. Stat. Odium prepares to continue the assault, then vanishes. Literally gone. Faster than a blink. Bam. He materializes inches from Agito's face. Agito barely brings his blade up to block. That is the speed of the Divine Dragon. If a mere lackey hits this hard, Agito does not want to imagine what the bosses are like. Odium laughs, unleashing a relentless, suffocating assault. You are obsolete, a fossil from a forgotten age. You died thinking you saved everyone, didn't you? You didn't save squat, you dumb hero. Agito goes dead silent. Masaki's heart sinks. Odium charges up his ultimate finisher. There is no world left for you to save. He rockets toward Agito, full throttle. Impact in 3, 2 snick. One flick of Agito's wrist, and Odium's fingers hit the floor. Masaki freezes. Odium stares at his hand. But wait, the delay hits. The slash goes all the way through, bisecting him. Odium's torso slides apart. Impossible. The cut is too clean, too deep. His healing factor is burnt out. You are right, Agito whispers, cold as ice. I am no hero. My friends gave their lives in that war. And for what? A measly 100 years of peace? He levels his blade at the dying beast. Never again. Not on my watch. For the ghosts of my squad, and the kids living now. This time, I am actually going to save this world. Odium snarls, shut your mouth, and lunges for a suicide strike. Thud. Agito catches Odium's face with his bare hand. The demon's eyes widen. This power, it is unreal. I lost. To a washed-up has-been? Odium's mind races. To a corpse that should have stayed buried? Impossible. Agito presses the tip of his blade against the demon's chest. Game over. Hanke Ryu, 0-point pierce. A beam of light obliterates Odium's core. Eyes roll back. Lights out. He triggers the shift, his final words fading out as Rubel vanishes into thin air, like a ghost. Amasagi creeps up on Agito, but he clocks her presence instantly, just as she drops the million-dollar question, who is he, really? Meanwhile, back in Japan, deep in the dark abyss of Special Gate A girl is chilling out, casually radioing her report to the guildmaster. That monster claiming to be a Six Dragons subordinate? Toast. This is the S-rank powerhouse, the Eternal Glacier herself, Tomalina. They confirm the Six Dragons are back in business. The predictions were spot on. Without a heavy hitter, S-rank on site, the collateral damage would have been a nightmare. Toma asks what the next play is, hunting dragons, or can she finally request some backup? She's been running on fumes lately, but the boss tells her to relax. They've already scouted some potential recruits. Name's Mizurugi Agito. Apparently, the guy soloed a Six Dragons subordinate, Rubel, the one calling himself Hatred. Toma keeps a poker face, listening to the rumors. She patches in Odo, who's hyping the guy up, asking for his take. Odo, also taking a breather, confirms the kid is absolutely insane. This is S-rank hunter, Divine Thunder, Odo Riku. The guy has 0 magic power, fights like an ancient swordsman, and works as a solo janitor. Sounds like a glitch in the system, right? But the voice on the comms says they aren't picky. He tells them to go vibe check the guy personally. If his skills are legit and he has the muscle, he's got a ticket to join Seraphim. Odo shouts that he's on his way. Leaving the boring paperwork to Toma, she realizes he's just dodging the report. Suddenly, beasts swarm the area, and Odo clicks his tongue in annoyance. Missed a few spots. He starts heading toward Agito, while charging up a massive thunder spell to wipe the board in one shot, muttering for Mizurugi Agito to sit tight. He's coming to see this for himself. Back at Uraga Magic Academy, on the training grounds, Amasagi is having a serious heart-to-heart with our protagonist, processing the fact that he's the reincarnation of Ankin Agito, and that the revived Six Dragons are plotting to bring down the Divine Dragon. Agito confirms it's straight facts, and she's losing her mind. It sounds crazy. Usually, she'd call cap on the whole story, but after witnessing those moves, his sword skills rival even an S-rank mage. There is literally no other explanation, unless he is the sword saint, Agito himself. Letting out a sigh, she decides to buy his story. But there's a catch. When the war against the Six Dragons starts, she wants in. She's gonna protect her world too. No way she's sitting on the bench watching. That's not her style. It triggers a flashback for Agito, a memory of her trying to shield other soldiers. He sighs, admitting she's definitely his descendant. She inherited that stubborn spark along with the magic. Amasagi looks confused, but he brushes it off. Now, on to business. What's the game plan? Agito says they need to squad up. 2 people can't carry this whole raid. Ideally, they need teammates on the same level as the 4 great heroes. Amasagi taps her chin, trying to think of anyone who can throw hands like her great-grandma. Then, it hits her. The Seraphim. They could be the key. Agito has no clue who she's talking about, so she breaks it down. It's an elite unit, mostly made of Guild S ranks who investigate gate anomalies. She mentions she was overseas, helping their research as a Seraphim candidate. If she had to sum them up in one word, they're the apex predators of this era. The only snag for Agito is whether they'll believe his reincarnation story. Amasagi assures him it's cool. The Seraphim crew is diverse. These are people who dedicate their lives and power to protecting the peace built by the Sword Saint and the Four Great Heroes. That's their whole vibe, so they'll be down for the cause. Hearing that is a huge weight off Agito's shoulders. Knowing there are new heroes in this era, if he can fight alongside people like that, he's hyped. Amasagi cuts in, warning that some of them are a bit quirky. If he explains the situation clearly, suddenly, Agito senses something. A bolt of lightning streaks down, but Agito's sword intercepts it instantly. Amasagi gasps, totally shocked, while Odo realizes this kid's perception is terrifying. Agito announces they've got company as a massive thunderclap shakes the middle of the stadium. The figure in the smoke starts talking. To be honest, he didn't expect much, but the kid looks extremely capable. It's Odo. Agito asks if she knows him. She confirms, that's an S-rank legend from the guild. We're talking about one of the world's top-tier lightning casters here. A literal seraph standing at the peak of power. Udo sets his sights on Mizurugi Agito, mostly because rumor has it this kid soloed a sub-boss from the Six Dragons. Now, Udo also crushed one of those so-called subordinates, though he claims the guy was total trash with zero skills. Still, he doesn't buy that a mere student could pull off a win like that, so he tells Agito to brace himself. It's time for a little vibe check. Udo manifests a triple-stacked magic circle, and Masahi is losing her mind watching this. That's the Extreme Thunder Clash, a nuke meant for wiping out dragons, not high schoolers. You don't aim that at a human. Udo shrugs it off, telling the kid to use whatever cheap trick he wants. If he survives this strike, Udo might consider him for the Seraphim Squad. Our MC just smirks and says, that sounds like a deal, asking what the penalty is for failure. Udo's like, I'll just write a report saying you're a waste of space with zero potential. Agito draws his blade. I'm ready. No hesitation. Udo triggers the spell, launching the Extreme Thunderclash straight at Agito. The kid unleashes the Haken Fluid Art, 6-petal sword prison, drawing his steel in a blur. 1. Thrust. That's all it takes to shatter Udo's attack. Masahi's jaw is practically on the floor. Udo can't help but grin. Agito matches that energy, thinking this guy is actually magnificent. Honestly, even by standards from 100 years ago, this mage is a prodigy. Agito decides right then, I'm making you my partner. But hold up, quick shout out to the sponsor. If you want to binge these mangas and stay ahead of my recaps, you gotta check out Nova Manga. It's a site built by the fans, for the fans, designed to help you hunt down every single series. That's trending right now, all in one spot. And hey, if you want in on the absolute chaos and the wildest memes, slide into our WhatsApp community. Or if you want to make friends and chat with people who are obsessed with manga and maybe have a slight gambling addiction, join the Discord server. If you want to roast me while I die 800 times in Minecraft or lose 10 LOL matches in a row, follow my socials. All the links are down in the description and pinned comment, so go smash that follow button on whatever platform you vibe with. And remember, Nova Manga is the place to be. Alright, back to the action. Agito asks Udo to be his partner, and the guy just stares, serious, muttering his name. Then his face lights up. He loves the attitude. He grabs Agito's shoulder and says, no, you join me. That was supposed to be his line, leaving Agito confused. But Udo keeps talking, telling him, that was incredible. He asks if Agito really blocked that nuke with a single sword. Agito admits he wasn't even going full force. He recognized it was just a mid-tier spell, the Thunder Lance, in disguise. Udo is shook. Agito explains that if Udo had been serious, the whole map would have been wiped out. Not many mages have that kind of control. Smiling, Udo realizes this kid saw through his bluff instantly. That is S-rank perception right there. He throws his arms wide, shouting to forget the candidate nonsense. Starting today, Agito is a full-blooded member of the Seraph Special Forces. Agito agrees to join, as long as they can work together. Then he pivots, asking if Masahi is getting a spot on the team too. Agito looks back at her, but Udo shuts that down fast. Not happening. He checked the mission logs from the branch. In North America, her mana levels are naturally way below the standard, below the team's average, and she's no sword saint like Mizurugi. To be brutally honest, she isn't even close to their level. She's not cut out for the Seraphim, and he figures Agito should know that better than anyone. Masahi goes silent, head down. She's drowning in doubt. She felt confident at the academy, sure, But she just watched a god-tier fight. She couldn't keep up with their speed at all. She's light years away from being strong enough. But suddenly, Agito steps up and speaks for her, asking Udo if that's really what he thinks. Udo looks surprised. Agito declares he's got her back. Masahi possesses a hidden talent that even she hasn't unlocked yet. In the battles coming up, her power is going to be absolutely essential. Even Masahi can't believe what she's hearing. Udo scoffs, saying whatever talent she has, calling it essential, is a massive stretch. Anything she can do, he can do better. But Agito cuts him off. Sorry, Chief, but even you can't do this, especially in one specific area. She actually outclasses you there. Masahi is more confused than ever. Udo goes quiet, thinking it over, then reminds them that thousands of people every year, mages on active duty, lose their lives. It's been 10 years since the war ended, but the danger is real. The Sword Saint and the Big Four might have exiled the 6 dragons, but the nightmare isn't over. The gates remain. The monsters are still hungry. Every single raid is a gamble with death, people dying left and right. That's exactly why the S-ranks exist. They stand as the wall, ensuring no more rookies get slaughtered. That's the entire purpose of Seraphim. Knowing this, Udo presses him. Does he seriously vouch for Amasaki? Agito doesn't even blink. Absolutely. Her potential is S-rank tier. She's going to be a lethal asset for Seraphim. Amasaki panics, trying to pump the brakes. Wait, Udo is right. I should still be grinding at the academy, leaving the other cadets in the dust. Suddenly, another voice cuts in from the shadows. A woman steps onto the scene, agreeing with the skepticism. He's right to ask about this unknown talent. If you had that kind of power, we would have seen signs way before Agito showed up. It's Toma. Udo glances over, asking if she knows this guy. Just an old acquaintance, she shoots back, shutting Amasaki up cold. Udo scratches his head, wondering if she's another candidate for Seraphim, considering her aura screams high level. Toma takes charge. If you're so confident, let the 4 of us handle the next investigation together. If you want to prove Amasaki isn't dead weight, make her show us some actual skill. Udo waves it off. Nah, that's a hassle. Agito agrees instantly. True. Let's not complicate things. Agito drops a bombshell proposal. Let's keep it simple. A duel. You 2 versus us 2. Right here, right now. The tension in the room spikes instantly. Toma narrows her eyes. You really want that smoke? We aren't going to hold back just because you're dragging a burden. We're fully aware, Agito replies, his voice ice cold. Fine, Toma snaps. We'll use the Guild HQ training grounds. When S-ranks actually get serious, things tend to explode. Udo grins like a predator. Perfect. Duel, brawl, whatever, I don't care. I've been itching to throw hands with this guy since the moment we met. Agito nods. Good. No holding back. Let's go. He urges them to move fast. Amasaki is still freezing up, but Agito turns to her. It's okay. You are way stronger than you realize. Just trust me and fight by my side. His words hit her like a thunderbolt. The Sword Saint Agito of the 8 Swords believes in her. That's all she needed. She'll do it. She'll prove her worth. In actual combat, she unsheathes her blade as Agito stares down the Seraphim duo. It's decided. He and Amasaki are taking the win. The announcement blares through the Mage Guild HQ. Participants confirmed, F-rank Mitsurugi Agito and A-rank Amasaki area versus S-rank Udo Riku and Toma. Rina. Combat begins once the barrier is fully deployed. The VIPs, directors, and teachers are completely lost. Udo and Toma fighting is huge, but this matchup, it looks like a massacre. Amasaki is good, but this isn't fair. And who the hell is Mitsurugi Agito? They grill Kinju for answers, but he just smirks. You'll see once the bell rings. They have no clue. Mitsurugi Agito is the F-rank who soloed, a lieutenant of the 6 dragons. Now that everyone knows the dragons are back, humanity is desperate. They need every ounce of power they can get, and Agito is about to put on a clinic. 140 seconds, until barrier lock. At 39%, Agito glances up, impressed. Huh, fully automated? Yeah, Amasaki replies, gripping her hilt. That's the standard now. It takes a second, but anyone can deploy a stable shield since the spell is pre-built. Toma chimes in from across the arena. Correct. Back in the day, Amasaki Yuka had her own legendary defense spell, but unless you're on her level, relying on machine-assisted magic is safer. Agito sighs wistfully. Man, if only we had. A defender like Yuka right now, she'd be priceless. Toma frowns. What's that supposed to mean? Enough chatter, Udo barks. Once the fists fly, everything becomes clear. Agito nods, waiting with terrifying calm. 5 seconds to barrier lock. The counter ticks down. Everyone tenses up, muscles coiled, ready to explode the second it hits 0. Udo already has a spell primed in his palm. The directors lean in, hyped. Udo doesn't waste a millisecond. He unleashes Violet Thunder God Strike straight at Agito and Amasaki. Kinjo gasps. He's going for the kill shot immediately. Agito steps into a stance, hand on his sword. I got this. Swish. He unleashes a flurry of cuts. Endless sky wind. His blade deflects Udo's entire lightning nuke like it was nothing. The spectators drop their jaws. What the hell was that? Nobody has ever seen a magic sword style like this. But it's too late for questions. The fight is on. Odo and Agito are face to face, locking horns as Odo wields the Thunder King's sword with lethal intent. But Agito pulls a massive flex, literally conjuring a blade made of pure lightning to parry the strike, leaving Odo stunned. Odo screams, "Does being S-Rank mean you can do whatever you want?" as he spams a combo that sends our main character flying backward. Odo cackles like a maniac, while Tuma charges up a nasty Ice Lance spell, but Odo barks at him to back off. This opponent is his. Agito can only grin, admitting that facing two mages of this caliber is insane, exactly what you'd expect from the Seraphim. Suddenly, Agito slams his blade into the ground, unleashing the Earth Fissure shockwave. A massive swarm of debris explodes in front of him. The system screams red alerts, and Jinjuji yells to crank the barrier to max power. Not level 2, hit level 3. That barrier device is built with bleeding-edge magical tech, yet it's taking damage like it's nothing. Jin creates a mental note. Why on earth was Mizurugi, Agito, hiding this kind of power? Meanwhile, inside the chaos, Agito is just laughing. The thrill of the fight is incredible. He's matching Odo's talent blow for blow. He praises his opponent but notices the girl continues chanting her spell. The guy isn't even out of breath. He throws the compliment right back, wondering why Odo is so confident he's won. Focus too much on me, and you'll miss the real threat. Behind him, Amasagi is locking in her incantation. Odo shouts that he recognizes Agito's strength, but demands respect in return, unleashing Supreme Thunder Crash. He directs a massive nuke of an attack straight at the girl, but she finishes her prayer. She calls forth the power to reject evil and destruction. Jinjuji's eyes go wide. Countless mages have tried to recreate this spell, only to fail miserably. It's the signature move of one of the three great heroes, Amasagi Yuka. Sweat pours down Jin's face. Amasagi activates Radiant Sacred Shield, leaving everyone absolutely floored, including Odo and Tuma. She completely tanks Odo's attack. No damage. Odo is grinning, impressed she stopped his ultimate move. Agito looks back. Forgot I told you that you had talent? Now, it's time for the counterattack. They prepare for round 2. Let's rewind a few hours. Amasagi and Agito are arguing in his room. She's panicking. It's her first time in a guy's bedroom. She's spiraling, wondering if this is appropriate. Right before a duel, Agito has been dead silent. He said he wanted to discuss her talent, but her imagination runs wild. Is there a hidden meaning? She pictures a romantic scenario and turns beet red. She keeps telling herself to chill. I'm from the Amasagi family. I can't lose my cool over this. Agito finally speaks up, cutting through the awkwardness. Did you inherit your great-grandmother's power? She's confused. He clarifies he's talking about magic, asking what she thought he meant. She quickly stammers, nothing. He continues, her true talent is defensive magic. Her great-grandmother was Amasagi Yuka, one of the 4 great heroes. She possesses that same legendary power. Amasagi is stunned. I have the same power as Grandma? But Agito drops the bad news. Her talent is dormant. Usually, it takes years to wake it up slowly. Amasagi asks what the plan is since they're out of time. Agito steps directly behind her. She freezes, confused. Agito says, we're doing this now, placing his hands on her back and waist. She blushes furiously. Wait, you can't just touch me in weird places like that. Agito apologizes for the handsy approach but tells her to stay still. He repositions himself to focus the energy. Suddenly, a blinding yellow light explodes from Amasagi. She looks down in shock. My body, it's glowing. Agito confirms he's jump-started her magical core. In this state, she should be able to cast most high-tier defensive spells, but only temporarily. To make it permanent, she'll need serious training later. It's going to be hellish training. She nods firmly. I'm ready for it. Agito smirks at her resolve. Good answer. Let's go out there and drop some jaws. Snap back to the present. Amasagi has successfully nullified Odo's power. The spectators are losing their minds. She stopped Odo's final ray. They ask Jinjuji for an explanation. He's just as shocked, realizing his assessment of her was dead wrong. A Seraphim candidate with 0 skills? That was the verdict on Amasagi area. But Mizurugi Agito saw the truth. That guy is on another level. Amasagi's power is undeniable now. And now, it's Agito's turn to shine. He unsheathes his blade, triggering the 8 swords technique. Wrath of the Thunder God. He launches himself at them with a lightning blast so violent it sends the other teammates scrambling for cover. Odo is absolutely buzzing for violence. but Toma shuts that noise down instantly with her water spear dance. Masaki steps into the fray, deploying her protective shield, and holy smokes, she realizes she actually blocked the hit. Blocking a low-tier spell gave her confidence, but Odo isn't playing anymore. He's charging up twin magic circles. It's a double thunder spear barrage. Agito checks if she's ready to rock, and Masaki answers with action unleashing. Mirror shield. She deflects the blast right back at Odo's face, but the guy just catches the lightning barehanded. Okay, so she's not just a meat shield, she's got moves. As Masaki starts believing this is actually winnable, Toma loads up another ice spell and fires. But this time, Masaki realizes she doesn't need to tank the whole hit head-on. It's all about angles. She focuses on deflecting the impact and reinforcing specific zones rather than brute forcing it. That's the key to surviving against a double S rank monster. They can actually take this W. Meanwhile, Agito keeps scrapping with Odo, who taunts him about Masaki's status. But Odo cracks a grin. Looks like the weakling leveled up her game. Time to raise the stakes. Odo activates magnetic manipulation, leaving both Masaki and Agito completely shook. He positions it right in their line of sight. Agito's mind races. Is that just a support spell with zero direct damage? Focusing on the objective, Odo barks an order at Toma. She snaps back, "Don't tell me what to do," while casting Crystal Cage. The battlefield shrinks instantly. Agito realizes this was the plan from the jump. Divide and conquer. It's a pure 1v1 now. Agito takes the brute, and Masaki is locked in with Toma. No third partying allowed. Agito knows Masaki has improved, but the XP gap here is massive. Raw talent alone isn't enough to take down a triple S rank threat. Still, Agito claps back. He isn't about to fold just because his resume is shorter. They're taking both these clowns down. Round 3 starts now. Masaki rushes Toma, but the mage sidesteps like it's nothing. Toma fires back, but Masaki's reaction time is insane. She throws up a protective wall instantly. But that was bait. Toma counters with Water Pillar Strike, catching Masaki off guard. The attack screams toward her. 0 options left. Masaki deploys Radiant Shield and boom. Toma is actually stunned that she blocked it. Now it's Masaki's turn. She triggers Attribute Infusion and Impulse Blade, supercharging her sword. For a devastating slash, Toma analyzes the pattern. Her magic gets blocked, and Masaki's relentless sword spam is pinning her down. She's facing a true magic swordsman. This girl has become a serious problem. As Masaki presses the attack, Toma sneers, too naive, and blinks right behind her to unleash Great Water Storm at point-blank range. Masaki barely gets her Holy Radiant Shield up to tank the hit. Internally, Masaki is screaming. The power difference is wild. Toma just shredded her defenses in a nanosecond. That's S-rank power for you. Toma sighs. Time to tap out, kid. You've got potential, but makeshift defense won't win you the war. She asks why Masaki bothers trying. Masaki goes silent, letting the question hang. She thinks for a beat. Truth is, she used to be a quitter. Everyone hyped up the 4 heroes bloodline, but she was stuck at rank A. No matter how hard she grinded, it felt like her destiny was capped, until she saw him. One person standing alone against the impossible. He stood up to save the world when no one else would. She might be weak now, but she wants that same strength. To protect the squad, she reignites her aura. She is done giving up. Toma just rolls her eyes. You think effort changes fate? Delusional. Toma mocks her, positioning herself to unleash her max output. Masaki realizes Toma is channeling a massive hydroblast and is rooted in place. Toma lectures her. The future is just a pile of bricks built on the past. Accept your history before you try to move forward. She fires Absolute Zero, a literal erasure spell. The frost nuke descends, but Masaki sees her window. She weaves a spell between her palms. Holy Domain. Toma doesn't process it until it's too late. She's trapped inside Masaki's barrier, and her own attack is bouncing back. Inside the sphere, Absolute Zero is ricocheting everywhere. Masaki grins. Gotcha. It's a magic nullifying cage. Toma can't blast her way out, and firing off heavy spells inside just means blowing herself up. Using a defense spell to offensively neutralize an S-ranker, Agito is watching this like, damn, those hidden talents are insane. Inside the bubble, Toma powers down. It's over. Agito steps up. Too little, too late. What's the play now? Jinguji. He calls the match, but Toma is fuming. She wants another round. Agito shuts her down, telling her, keep your eyes on the prize. The hunt for the 6 dragons isn't over yet. But first, let's make it official. Amasagi is now a full-fledged member of Seraphim. This announcement leaves Toma speechless, and he knows it's checkmate. He raises a hand, signaling his surrender. Lena screams for him to clear the field, while a dazed Amasagi drops her barrier, asking, wait, did I actually win? Toma offers his congrats, but as he walks away, He drops a psychological bomb that cuts deeper than any blade. If only you had wielded this kind of power back then. None of that tragedy would have happened. Amasagi is left frozen, totally shook. Meanwhile, the main event is still raging on. The duel between Udo and Agito is hitting its fever pitch. Steel clashes against steel, sparks flying as neither side gives an inch. Suddenly, the announcement of Toma's withdrawal echoes through the arena, shocking both fighters. Udo pauses, then busts out laughing. They actually pulled off the win. He tells Mizurugi he's incredible and demands to know what kind of magic he's rocking. Agito replies with a cryptic flex, just the correct path. Udo finds that hilarious, but his mood shifts. If two S-rankers lose today, it sends the wrong message to the world. So, playtime is over. Agito simply grips his sword tighter, telling him he's ready for whatever comes next. On the sidelines, Kinjuji realizes things are about to get ugly. He begs Udo to chill, asking if the guy plans to level the entire guild headquarters. They've seen enough. Mizurugi Agito has proven his worth. Udo just scoffs at the warning. Kinjuji keeps shouting his name, but the S-ranker ignores him, unleashing his aura, and declaring, "This is me at 100%. He demands Agito show him his absolute limit, no holding back, as he charges up a massive spell, Divine Thunder. He hurls the lightning blast straight at our protagonist. Agito's inner monologue kicks in. Udo is a beast. He didn't expect this level of raw power. A half-hearted block means death, so he has to tank it, using the 8-leaf swordsman's secret art. The arena alarms start blaring. The barrier durability is critical. 70% of the protective shield is instantly vaporized. System errors are popping up on every console, making monitoring impossible. Kinjuji is sweating bullets as Udo's attack makes a direct hit. Udo wonders if Agito survived, or if that was all the kid had. He closes his eyes, satisfied. But wait, a streak of blue light tears through the explosion, leaving Udo stunned. Agito is executing the technique. 8-leaf swordsman, radiant return of the 8 folds. He's literally diffusing the raw energy of Udo's attack. The crowd goes wild. He just erased the Divine Thunder. Kinjuji's brain breaks. That's impossible. Udo's Divine Thunder can one-shot a giant dragon. But there stands Agito, back in his stance, telling Udo to bring it on. He launches a thrust that slams into the barrier, warping behind Udo faster than the eye can track. Udo doesn't even realize he's been hit until seconds later, feeling the phantom blade slash through his entire body. Agito apologizes, admitting he couldn't afford to hold back against an opponent like him. As Udo collapses to the floor, he wheezes, asking if that was supposed to be a compliment. He vows to win next time. Kinjuji is left completely speechless. The call is made. Udo is unable to continue. The winner is Mizurugi Agito. Agito surveys the scene calmly. Kinjuji can't wrap his head around it. An F-rank just annihilated an S-rank. Meanwhile, Agito realizes the power of his radiant return has leveled up significantly. He might be able to fully utilize that technique now. Later, at Seraphim HQ, the mood shifts. Toma is healing Udo in the director's office, while Udo whines like a baby, begging Toma to go easy on the magic. She snaps back, reminding him that he's the one who technically walked out of the infirmary, so he better sit still. Kinjuji interrupts, praising their extraordinary display of power. Both, Mizurugi Agito and Amasagi Area, are officially recognized as elite members of the Seraphim Special Forces starting today. He warns them to gear up for the battles ahead. The potential return of the E6 dragons is looming, and they need to investigate the gate as soon as possible. Agito raises a hand with a question. Is a small team really enough for an operation this big? Kinjuji assures him it's not an issue. Seraphim members have high-level command authority. If things go south, they can draft rank A mages as subordinates, or even lead squadrons of dozens. Agito looks a bit awkward, admitting he hasn't exactly commanded troops before. Udo looks at him like he has two heads. Leadership is a fundamental skill for modern mages. Toma chimes in, saying he should have practiced this in tactics class, but Agito has a valid excuse, sort of. Since certain events happened 100 years ago, he always left the heavy lifting to Yuka. It might be time to drop the act and reveal who he really is. Kinjuji ends the meeting, saying they'll go over the gritty details tomorrow. But then, dead silence. Agito throws up a hand. Wait, pause, he insists, shifting the focus. We need to have a serious talk about him. Conversation over. A breathless grunt busts into the room, cutting Agito off to scream at the guildmaster. Emergency report, sir. The master snaps back. What is it? The messenger gulps, dropping the bombshell about the elite Sakagami S-rank mage unit. It's the squad we deployed to the Shinjuku gate. The situation just went critical. An unknown dragon just absolutely decimated the squad, sending the entire guild into full-blown panic mode. We're talking about Sakagami, an S-rank powerhouse leading veteran A-rank mages, and they still got crushed. What kind of monster is this? Agito's mind goes dark. He knows they have finally arrived. He immediately volunteers, but Jinguji hesitates, asking if he can actually handle this heat. Agito shoots back cold. There's no time for a break when his teammates are out there fighting for their lives. The whole crew is locked and loaded. Odo slams his fist into his palm, swearing they aren't about to abandon Sakagami now. Toma backs him up, 100% ready. She's worried about the injured, sure, but she's still standing, so she's going in. Even Amasaji steps up to the plate. Jinguji realizes there's no stopping them, so he sighs and gives the green light. It's all on Agito now. The dragons are getting restless, and Sakagami is totally in the dark. The rescue squad is sprinting, desperate to save her unit before it's too late. They race toward the special A-rank gate, deep in the 7th underground layer of Shinjuku, where the scene is straight-up nightmarish. Bodies are scattered everywhere. The dragon looms over them, mocking their weakness, claiming he hasn't even started trying yet. Sakagami's vice commander is cowering behind a rock, trembling. The only word he can choke out is monster. That thing wiped the entire platoon with a single strike. When he asks Sakagami for orders, she's dazed, just murmuring apologies. She feels responsible even with her power. This massacre still happened. But remember, this is Misaki Sakagami we're talking about. The S-rank gate guardian. She recalls the words of Agito, the sword saint. A leader who endangers their comrades isn't fit to lead. Guilt-ridden, she decides the only way to atone is through self-sacrifice. She sees no other option and charges up a suicide attack, but the vice commander screams for her to stop. He begs her not to be reckless. If she hadn't used her teleportation, they would have all been instant toast. He frantically asks if she remembers the Sword Saint's teachings about facing a crisis. Every crisis is an opportunity, or something like that. Sakagami shuts him down. That's not it. It's about adversity. That's where you find the path forward. It's a completely different vibe, leaving the vice commander totally confused and frustrated. Flashback to the Great War, 10 years ago. The Sword Saint was backed into a corner with absolutely no way to scan the battlefield without magical power. Sure, he had basic recon spells, but Vritra's forces used high-level illusions to stay off the radar, rendering Agito's magic useless. The Red Dragon Lubel exploited that blind spot, swarming him with monsters from every single angle. It was an all-out blitz. But right then, the Sword Saint invented a frantic new technique. He forged new skills on the fly, relying purely on his blade. Thanks to that insane grind, the Red Dragon Lubel was held back during the early skirmishes by the sheer guts of the mages. But Lubel was one of the 6 great dragons, so the fight was absolutely brutal. Yet, thanks to the great hero and the Sword Saint, the beast was finally taken down. It was all thanks to his sword call technique, a move powerful enough to slice through even a dragon's scales. The story leaves the vice commander shaking in his boots, but that's the reality, and now Sakagami knows she also is the highest-ranking officer on the field. She has to keep her cool. She has to follow the Sword Saint's example. She recites Agito's 12th precept. When the moment of truth arrives, a true leader steps to the front. She orders Itakawa to grab the wounded and retreat immediately. She's going to be the distraction. The vice commander stammers, telling her to wait, thinking to himself that he just can't. Abandon his captain and run. The dragon yawns, wondering if that's the best they've got. He was being careful, trying not to kill her too fast, charging up a magic blast. But in a blink, Sakagami teleports right behind him. She unleashes a bladeless cut, but the edge of her attack shatters on impact. She stares in total disbelief. The dragon sneers, asking if she's the boss. Coming alone takes guts, he says, but you lack spirit. So, how should I end you? He spins up a Chaosbringer magic circle and launches it straight at her face. But she warps again. She appears right behind his massive frame, taunting him. Is that really all you got? The dragon is confused. He's got size, sure, but no speed. She starts sprinting circles around the beast. He starts chasing her. Obvious bait, he thinks, but I'll play along. He unleashes a torrent of flames right at her heels. Sakagami scans the area. There are way more wounded than she thought. The retreat is going to take too long. Running around like this puts everyone at risk. This next move will drain her magic dry, but it's her only shot. She has to try. She stops dead in her tracks, facing the monster head-on. The dragon smirks. Done running already? Doing that is strictly for the scrubs. Way more fun to bully the weak. But he just lets out a heavy sigh, dropping Sword Saint rule number 3, like a mic drop. Agito always said, if you want that happy ending, quit scattering your focus. Lock in. Crank that power to the absolute max. She rips open a chaos gate right above the dragon's head, realizing the play she's trying to yeet him into an imaginary dimension. Even a combat mage can clutch the win if they play their cards right. The dragon is fuming. The great red dragon Lubel Taken down by a mere human? No shot. She seals the dimensional rift, screaming that she actually pulled it off. Then her vice captain rolls up, and she immediately starts roasting him for not falling back like she ordered. But he hits back with, "We don't leave the homies behind." Besides, without her spatial magic, he's basically an NPC. That strokes Sakagami's ego just right. She's vibing now, soaking up the glory after emptying the tank on that last trick. Somehow, it actually worked. The squad is shook, still processing it. That's an S-rank hunter for you, simply built different. She just flashes a confident smirk. The vice captain asks what the heck that dragon was, but honestly, she's clueless. It was leaking crazy amounts of mana, looking exactly like Crimson Scale, one of the 6 calamities that terrorized humanity during the Great War. Just like the red dragon Lubel, but that makes zero sense. The Sword Saint deleted him over 100 years ago. Her captain asks if these are guild reinforcements, and she's still trying to connect the dots. Suddenly, a shadowy figure creeps up from behind, activating a Chaos-Bringer magic circle. Sakagami barely dodges the insta-kill by a hair, crashing to the pavement near her team. She curses, but the enemy just laughs. He claims that scumbag Vritra made him throw the fight just to farm intel. As she struggles to stand, Sakagami freezes. It's actually him. The guy asks if she knows who he is. Let's speedrun this conversation. He stomps on her, demanding answers. Is the Sword Saint still alive? And where is Agito of the 8 Swords? Turns out, right before his lieutenant died, he beamed a mental DM, confirming that Sword Saint Agito has respawned. Sakagami is floored. Even she didn't have that tea. The enemy continues. There is no way he hasn't contacted the guild. He offers a trade. Spill the info, and he spares their lives. But she claps back with, "Unlucky for you. I know nothing." And let's be real, even if she knew, she ain't snitching. He bursts out laughing, telling her to quit the main character act and bow down. Weaklings should just obey. But she quotes Agito again, dropping rule 171. When the world is devoured by darkness, he will undoubtedly pull up and wreak evil. If the Sword Saint is really back, she's betting it all on him. The dragon grinds his heel into her, asking if she's for real. She might be gatekeeping secrets. If so, he preps crushing lava, lighting up a magic circle, last chance to talk. But she looks him dead in the eye. "I said what I said. End me, I still won't talk." The dragon doesn't flinch. "Fine, have it your way." He decides to wipe her squad first, aiming the spell straight at the bystanders. Pinned to the floor, Sakagami screams for her crew. The dragon cackles, mocking her. What you gonna do now? Sakagami burns her last resource trying to intercept the attack, but the dragon shuts it down instantly. Time's up. Looks like her precious Sword Saint left them on red. She can only watch in horror as the meteor descends on her friends, her inner monologue, screaming for the Sword Saint. "If you're real, please, destroy him." She squeezes her eyes shut, tears streaming down her face. Suddenly, boom, a blinding light shreds the darkness. 8 Swords style, dimension cut. The meteor gets sliced, clean in half. The dragon and Sakagami are left with their jaws on the floor as the figure lands, turning to Lubel. "You ready to lose your head again, lizard?" The dragon is absolutely buzzing. He's finally back, face to face with Agito. Agito squares up against the beast, telling Sakagami to stay low. He unleashes the 8 Sword style, 6-star strike, launching straight at the dragon. But the beast doesn't even block, taking the massive explosion head-on. Sakagami watches from the dirt, realizing he's attacking with all 6 blades at once. The signature, ultimate move of the Sword Saint, 6-star strike. It has to be him, she wonders if this man really is the legendary 8 Swords Agito. The dragon grins through the smoke. No doubt about it, that technique, that killing intent. Finally, we meet again, 8 Swords Agito. He screams for him to die, along with his friends, unleashing a massive firestorm. Sakagami screams for everyone to run, but the main character is ice cold, casually paging Masashi, who instantly triggers Radiant Sacred Shield, tanking the dragon's breath like it's a stiff breeze. Sakagami's jaw hits the floor. Toma rolls up on the scene, checking if the squad is still breathing. Masashi gives the thumbs up, but admits the civilians are in bad shape. She cuts the chatter intros later, telling Sakagami to grab her team and get out of the kill zone. But the dragon sneers, calling them trash mobs. He's not interested in NPCs, he only wants 8 Swords, Agito, ripping open a dimensional rift and spamming beast summons. Agito tells the dragon, Lubel, to chill out. "I'm your opponent." But Lubel just laughs. He's got to clear the garbage first. The comms crackle, asking Odo for a sitrep at the entrance. "What's the play over there?" But Odo is neck-deep in a mosh pit of beasts, yelling that monsters just spawned out of thin air. He's cursing up a storm as they slaughter civilians. Is this really how boring it gets? Securing the perimeter? Agito radios back. "If you're bored, handle it." Odo is confused for a split second. Alright then. Odo grabs two beasts by the throat, blames them for the mess, and unleashes ultra-high voltage shock. He's on cleanup duty, so he orders them to evac Sakagami and the rest. Agito asks if they copied that, telling Masashi and Toma to dip, because this area is about to get toxic. Toma feels bad leaving, but they have zero other plays, casting an ice barrier to freeze the charging mobs. Meanwhile, Sakagami is hyperventilating. Masashi asks if Agito is good to solo this, right as Lubel fires his scorching light flame, which gets effortlessly parried by Mizurugi's blade. I got this. Trust. Masashi nods and retreats with the survivors. As they flee, Sakagami screams at the Sword Saint, begging him to win this fight. Agito glances back and gives a casual wave. Boom. Instant core memory. She turns, bright red, absolutely buzzing that he acknowledged her, while her commander physically drags her away, face to face. Agito locks in, stone-faced, while Lubel grins like a maniac, both casting simultaneously. 8 Crimson Clouds versus Lightning Burst. Debris rains down, and Lubel is hyped finally. A legitimate 1v1 duel. But the MC claps back. That's my line, blocking Lubel's strike. He's glad Lubel is strong. Crushing a weakling wouldn't mean anything. His revenge is only complete if he destroys Lubel at his absolute peak. They create space, and Lubel winds up for Hellfire God Infernal formation, spawning a massive magic circle right under the MC's feet, erupting into a pillar of flames. Lubel screams, no escape, but the protagonist is already moving, tanking the heat and sliding into a crater, reading the dragon strategy like a book. He's spamming high-tier spells with 0 cast time. Yep, that's the same OP Lubel from a century ago. That dragon blessing buff is a nightmare. The arena is consumed by fire, while Agito preps the ultimate technique of the 8-sword style, asking, is that all you got? Unleashing Radiant Return of the 8 Folds, he blitzes Lubel in milliseconds with the 6-star strike. Lubel tries to tank it with a magic barrier, but it shatters instantly. The power gap is insane. Lubel conjures a massive greatsword, and they start trading blows in a high-speed melee clash, dodging by pixels. Lubel curses, terrified, and spawns another circle, firing explosive light balls that start detonating all around the protagonist. But Agito counters with a special fireball, Scorching Sphere, slamming it straight into Agito Mizurugi, nuking the terrain. Reborn Lubel's stats have skyrocketed. Without a doubt, right now, he's top tier in this world. But the Sword Saint, 8 swords, Agito, uses 8-sword style, Crimson Blade, completely outclassing Lubel and burying a blade in his shoulder. Lubel can't believe fire magic actually hurt him. He screams curses, charging up, his magic sword. The protagonist stays on defense, getting angry that this lizard is still underestimating him post-reincarnation. Game over. Agito readies the finishing blow, but gets interrupted. It's Odo, dropping in with ultimate thunder, roaring, nobody touches my people. The crowd gasps as Ludel takes the insult, standing tall and cackling like a total psycho. He calls him straight up trash, and it is hopeless. In the blink of an eye, he teleports right next to Odo. 0 reaction time, no defense. But Agito cuts in. He blocks the strike, shouting, eyes on me, lizard. I am your opponent right here. Seeing Agito up close just triggers the beast. The dragon goes feral. But our main character? He busts out the 8-leaf swordsmanship. He lands a nasty thrust, but this is not steel, it is frost. Ice starts crawling all over Ludel's body. As the dragon screams curses, Agito executes Freezing Flash. He dashes behind the enemy, sheathing his blade like a total boss. Is Sakagami's squad good? He asks calmly. Odo confirms the evacuation is complete. It is just the 2 of them now. Odo gives props for the save, but drops the big question. Is that guy seriously one of the 6 dragons? Agito does not sugarcoat it. He looks human, sure, but make no mistake, that is Ludel, the Red Dragon. The same monster crushed in the Great War 100 years ago. Odo is shook. Didn't the Sword Saint end him? He stammers. Agito confirms the kill. Reincarnation, likely took a human vessel. Odo is processing this, but catches a slip-up. Agito did not use the formal title 8 Swords. In fact, Agito sounds way too familiar with the ancient war. Agito tries to play innocent. It is a long story, man. He waves it off, trying to pivot the conversation. How is that injury holding up? But Odo is not buying the deflection. Agito keeps dodging the subject. Fed up, Odo grabs him by the collar. Quit stalling. Stop playing games with me. You are hiding something huge, aren't you? As Odo shakes him, Agito internally debates dropping his secret identity. But the family drama gets cut short. Crack. The ice prison is shattering. Ludel realizes the ice has hit its limit. He glances at Odo. Is this guy even a threat? He looks for Agito's reaction, but Agito shouts a warning. Stay sharp. He is holding back. Bursting free from the ice, the dragon smirks. I learned a lesson 100 years ago. Humans are trash. Except for your magic control. You guys actually do that better than dragons. Suddenly, a massive, dark aura floods the arena. Agito's eyes go wide. It is a transformation. Ludel is fusing raw dragon power with precise human magic control. Demon form achieved. Agito realizes this energy dwarfs even Vritra from the old days. Ludel grins. I saved this for a special occasion. He launches a massive fireball. Boom, huge explosion. Crushing you instantly would be boring. Agito braces himself. But Ludel is already there. Agito barely dodges, realizing the speed gap is insane. Agito draws his blade just in time to block a heavy hit. Ludel mocks him, "Is that all you got?" Agito parries, forcing Ludel to step back. "Interesting style you have there." Agito unleashes Radiant Return of the Eight Folds. The dragon just laughs. "Still think you can win?" Suddenly, Odo roars. "Don't ignore me, you oversized lizard." He unleashes the Supreme Thunder Strike. Ludel rushes Odo, intending to crush him. Weaklings should stay on the floor, but clang, Odo catches the attack with his bare hand. His wound tears open, blood spraying, but Odo does not flinch. "I am a seraph." We flash back to his origin. He swore to build an ultimate unit made entirely of F ranks, the Seraphs. Even 100 years post-war, the gates and monsters did not leave. Even after the Sword Saint and the Big Four pushed back the dragons, Odo cranks up the voltage. He has seen too many people lose their ability to interact with the world. He is sick of the helplessness. He vowed to create a squad that everyone could rely on, the strongest ever, snap back to reality. "A couple of scratches won't stop me." He blasts Ludel with super high voltage discharge. "Did that do it?" Agito watches nervously. But Ludel walks through the smoke, grabs Odo by the face. He tears into Odo again and flings him like a ragdoll against the wall. Crash. Agito rushes over. "You alive?" Odo coughs, struggling to rise. I can still fight. The peace the heroes won. I will protect it." Then, lights out. He collapses. Ludel laughs. Natural selection at its finest. "Almost feel sorry for you. Searching for allies." Ludel sneers. "And this trash is the best you could find?" Agito snaps back with the Eight-Blade style, Night Fang of Light, driving a massive thrust straight toward Lubel. The dragon throws up a guard, but reality itself fractures a literal crack in the fabric of space rips open from the impact. The scenery warps around them, and Lubel grins, asking if Agito just tore through the dimension because he finds that absolutely fascinating. Playtime's over. The dragon launches a vicious counter, blasting Agito backward with overwhelming force. He follows up immediately with the Burning Flame Divider, raining down hundreds of scorching strikes on Agito's position. But Agito pulls a vanishing act in the blink of an eye, triggering the next phase of the Eight-Blade style, Phantom Sword Dance. He unleashes a barrage of thousands of spectral blades before launching himself as the final projectile. He goes in for the kill shot but freezes shocked. Lubel isn't just taking it, he's clapping back. He recognizes the move, the Eightfold Radiant Return. Sure, it's got speed and power. Maybe that works on scrubs, but against him, useless. He catches Agito's blade with just his bare fingers. He flicks Agito away like a fly and charges his next combo, the Deadly Flame Dance. Agito scrambles to block, but his confidence is crumbling as the momentum drags him into a devastating finisher. Slammed into the dirt, Agito realizes the hard way. The Eightfold Radiant Return just isn't cutting it. Lubel calls it game over. He winds up for the fatality, declaring his current form is leagues above Agito. He unleashes the Infernal Roar Fire Dragon, nuking Ground Zero, while mocking Agito's futile resistance. Finally, he dusted that eight-blade loser. Now nothing stands in his way of becoming infinitely stronger. He claims his throne as king of the planet, but the celebration is cut short. A massive pillar of light erupts skyward. Lubel can't believe his eyes. Impossible. The dust settles, revealing Agito standing tall on his own 2 feet. Agito had been prepping for this exact moment, refining his technique beyond the limit. This specific vessel makes it possible. Witness the ultimate evolution of the eight-blade style, the true radiant return of the Eight Folds. Cut to the mountainside. 2 backpackers are hiking, and one is begging to head home already, but her friend isn't having it. She's hunting the legendary Golden Tsuchinoko, and won't bail until she gets that exclusive. Suddenly, a massive shockwave hits them. She wonders if that's the cryptid making a dramatic entrance. She rushes toward the blast zone despite her friend's warnings. As they get closer, the scene becomes clear. 2 figures floating in midair. Meet Shiori, 25 years old, newspaper reporter, and she's witnessing history. She's at max zoom range, barely keeping focus, but she catches every frame of the action. Insane magic levels, space itself warping from a single blade. That silver-haired guy is trying to obliterate that magnificent figure. Agito declares his new move, the secret sword art, True Dawn of the Eight Revolutions. Lubel squares up, laughing. He asks if Agito seriously thinks he can win with a remixed version of that dusty old technique. He launches the deadly flame dance, but Agito sidesteps it like it's nothing. Again and again, miss after miss. The dragon is baffled. Why can't he land a hit? That's when it happens. Boom. A kick from the protagonist sends him flying. The dragon is reeling. He's shook. No human should physically match his demon form. How is this guy overpowering him? Agito doesn't let up, shifting into the sword style. Whirlwind duel. Judgment stance. He fires hundreds of razor-sharp edges at Lubel. The dragon curses, flying higher to evade the onslaught. Lubel rains down fire again, but Agito doesn't even flinch. Suddenly, Agito is right behind him. He unleashes the purple lightning thunder god, landing a surgically precise slash. He follows through with the thunder god flash, blasting Lubel squarely in the back. Lubel crashes to the earth, Agito in hot pursuit. This vessel, it has absolutely zero magical power. That's the secret Agito realized after fighting Odo. The less magic the user has, the more devastating the true dawn of the 8 revolutions becomes. And this body? It's a magic void vacuum, meaning its physical potential is off the charts compared to anything before. The answer was right there all along. A blade that transcends the true dawn technique. A strike capable of slaying a demon, unlocking the genuine power of the 8 cycles. It connects with catastrophic force. Lubel is cursing wildly, trying to break his fall, refusing to accept this reality. There is absolutely zero chance he takes an L while rocking that demon form. He is dumping every ounce of energy into this next strike. Scorching Fire Dragon Roar. He launches it straight at our main character. But Agito? He is not making that mistake twice. This time he is saving the world, and he is doing it with pure blade mastery. Technique. End of the road. The clash hits like a truck. It is a raw stat check. Who wants it more? Rubel instantly feels the pressure. He realizes the protagonist is literally overpowering him. His blast starts fizzling out as he starts panicking. He is cursing everything that swordsmanship is just too broken. He is getting completely diffed right now. For Mizurugi Agito, this fight was over before it started. He calmly sheathes his blade. Catch you later, demon. Cut to the aftermath. A reporter on the bus is frantically typing on her laptop. She just witnessed history, and she knows it. That is a guaranteed front-page scoop. Following the showdown with the Red Dragon Rubel at the Tokyo Magic Guild HQ, everyone made it out in one piece. Sakagami is relieved the squad is safe and starts debriefing. The encounter with the Red Dragon, Genguji cannot wrap his head around that being Rubel's main body. Finally, the gears are turning. He thanks them for the grind, but Agito is just chilling. No sweat. Todo jumps into the chat. He admits it was all Mizurugi. Todo was basically away from keyboard for the second half of that fight, but the team has questions. Why is Mizurugi trending on every social platform? He remembers sensing a presence, off in the distance during the brawl. He figured they were harmless NPCs, so he ignored them. But because of that, he is now viral. Toma points out that S-rank heroes from the Magic Guild are basically celebrities anyway. Mizurugi Agito has serious clout now. He doesn't seem fazed though. But let's be real, his existence is a glitch in the system. He has more raw power than an S-rank equivalent, and makes Amasaki's talent look like child's play. Reports suggest he has some shady connection to the 6th dragon, Rubel. They ask him point blank, what exactly are you? Internally, Agito knows they are right. His sudden, spawn, and insane stats make no sense. Toma agrees being S-rank level, with zero magic is physically impossible. But Sakagami knows the lore, he is the Sword Saint. Agito sighs. Fine, I'll talk. I am a reincarnator, Mizurugi Agito. Mic drop. The room is shook. In the war 100 years ago, he and Vitra basically destroyed each other. He should have been deleted from existence back then. He explains the glitch that happened right before the finish. Genguji is freaking out because Agito is saying his soul survived for a century and respawned. Everyone realizes they are looking at a living legend. Toma feels weird about it, while Sakagami is blushing like a total fanboy. Agito continues. He doesn't know why he's back, but those weird dungeon breaks and the monster surge, that is the 6 dragons trying to summon Vitra. If they ignore it, it is going to be a catastrophe. He asks everyone to lend him their strength. Genguji takes a beat, then confirms they trust him. They are going to keep riding with him. He officially acknowledges the Sword Saint. Toma says he isn't going to give him special VIP treatment, but he respects him. Amasaki is hyped. He wanted to show Agito to his great-grandmother so she could see him one last time, but Sakagami is vibrating with nerves. He knew it. He knew the lore was real. The legendary Sword Saint, Agito-sama. He has read every wiki page and document about the Sword Saint, and he can't believe he is seeing him in 4K. Agito grabs him by the collar to get him out of his face, shaking him around like a rag doll. Sakagami tries to cast his dimensional shot in a panic, but Toma shuts him down with an ice spell. Peace is restored just long enough for Agito to ask the real question. You guys got a decent sword? He doesn't think his current gear can handle the next boss fight. Amasaki realizes he is holding the newest GMA model. They use the hardest steel available. The MC wonders if that is really the meta weapon of this era. Amasaki confirms it. Well, that's it then. If only Suikane were here, he could craft something actually useful. Everyone is confused. Who is that? Sakagami leans in, asking who Suikane is. Agito explains he used to be a warrior who crafted god-tier blades, but he was kind of a jerk. Sakagami's face lights up because, obviously, he is talking about the legendary blacksmith, whose only life goal was forging a blade that could cut through anything. Rumor has it he had a stubborn personality and was extremely antisocial. He rarely crafted gear for other players. So, get this, Suikane actually left behind a successor. Talk about a massive plot twist. Meet Makoto. She's Master Daisuke's great-granddaughter and hit the master rank at just 18. Total prodigy. She's a forging genius. If Agito can sweet-talk her into making him a blade, it'd be a total game-changer. Agito needs a location check. The intel? She's in Rengoku. Yeah, that nightmare dungeon, packed with high-tier magic ore. But rumor has it, she's actually living inside the gate, just to chase Suikane's dream of forging the ultimate sword. Agito realizes the apple didn't fall far from the tree. They're all gear-obsessed maniacs. He gets it. He's heading to Rengoku immediately. Then, Masashi asks if he's rolling solo. Agito says, no, the 6 dragons could strike anywhere. Toma insists they need to save their heavy hitters. Everyone else stays behind to guard the base. Flashback time. Right before Vitria attacked the North American Magic Guild, a guy addresses the squad. That wraps training for today. I'm heading back to Japan. The team bows out. As he strides down the hallway, he replays a classified memo from the Seraphim execs. The Sword Saint, Yasuragi Agito, he's back. And he's joined the Seraphim ranks. Suddenly, a notification pings on his telesphere. That legendary comms tech, Agito, and the 4 great heroes, used back during the 6 Dragons War, 100 years ago. Now, only their descendants hold them. His eyes go wide. No way. To my old friends and your bloodlines. The world is on the brink again. If this message reaches you, please, lend me your strength. Yasuragi Agito. He stares at the orb, then crushes it in his fist. Because the only one saving this world is him, Shin Kageura, descendant of one of the 4 great heroes, Yukito Kageura, and captain of the Seraphim squad.